Going up, set a button, and crank up the station. Playing good time rock and roll from the Tower of Power. Cruising 98.3 WSVZ.
Your information station, WTIM.
Welcome into the WTIM Morning Show right here on WTIM, your information station. I'm your host, Tim Zalabak, and thank you so much to our live stream sponsors, People's Bank and Trust, where they put people first, and Landmark of Taylorville, where you always do better with Landmark. We have the great Christian County Health Department folks in studio with us. We know Joe Torres, Director of Environmental Health, new to studio. Clayton Sperry, Environmental Inspector, both with the Christian County Health Department. Great to have you both in today. Thanks for being here.
Thanks for having us.
Absolutely. So let's get right into it here. Today was the first day of school for the kiddos over there, and I know our new health department building in a tougher spot right there. Joe, what's the word right now? What's the message for the people?
Yeah, so our proximity where our building is we're right between two schools. We just want to make sure that people are dropping their children off in designated areas by Taylorville Junior High. The parking lot, we have a number of patients that come in, schedule their appointments first thing in the morning. And if our parking lot is filled with parents dropping off their kids, these people do not have a way to access our building. Last year, we did have, a point where there were a lady, the parking lot was full and she had to walk up the block with her child in the strollers because there was no parking. Yeah. So we just want to make sure that they're using the appropriate spots. We want to make sure too that the children are safe. If they're dropping off in a parking lot, they're kind of roaming around the parking lot, and we don't want anybody to get injured. So we just want people to be safe.
Yeah, really important things to note there. On one hand, you really don't want patients, especially with children, walking too far. And then it does seem like the health department, I found a nice spot close to the school. I can chill out here for a while now. Stay out of the health department parking lot. And then there are, I'm sure, signage and cones.
Yeah. And Taylorville Junior High does have their designated spots to drop off their children. So
it's really important to note there and get that out of the way there. First day of school. Good luck to the kiddos and the teachers, especially out there. And it's a great one. All right, here with our health department now. What's been the word lately? I know we're going to talk vector today. I've been hearing West Nile about in Illinois. What's on your mind lately?
Yeah, so we do a number of things for the environmental health team alone. The whole health department does a great job, but Vector is one of those programs that we do. Mosquitoes. This is the time of year where it's been a little bit more damp. Storms have coming in, so the breeding for the mosquitoes, that population's still out there. So we want to make sure people are aware of that. If they're seeing any kind of pooling of waters, like in pots and stuff, to empty it out, get rid of those breeding sites. So and then we do offer like larvicide. So if anybody's interested, they have areas that is pooling with water, contact us. We'll kind of evaluate what you have and what we can treat it with. Because I think that's a good option to try to get rid of.
It's currently where we're standing right now, and we're starting to see it. Clayton Sperry, Environmental Inspector. You've been out there. You've been out there actually collecting the testing. Is that correct?
Of course. Yeah, I've been collecting for quite a while now, and then also treating some of the areas that were prone for West Nile with larvicide. I just like to also bring out the stigma that the larvicide we carry is also friendly to the environment, so it won't hurt any other livestock, frogs, or any other amphibious forms that can be inside those large water regions. So just want to bring that stigma out.
Yeah, that's important to know, because I feel like some people value their watery spaces in their backyard. You could have some sort of swamp type land, maybe pond area. But if you can avoid things like that, are there times where you go out to places where there is a landscape set up where it's already pretty bog-ish that you have to be prepared and worried about for mosquitoes?
A little bit at times, but we always like to ask permission from the owners or anyone around here. How often does it pull up like this? Is it just during times of the year? But most of the times when it's a large body of water and we know it's prone for West Nile, we always like to make sure it's always going to be covered. And most of the time when we're out there, there's already traps set up, so we already know, hey, if this is a big population for mosquito breeding or not. So we always try to make that judgment.
Sure. At what point do you worry? I know there's going to be rates of just cases inside of mosquitoes, but is there a certain point where there are so many cases in mosquitoes that you're going to have to start thinking about humans being infected by it?
At points, we kind of believe it's a rare occasion that for humans to be infected by them at most times, but it's more prone to the elderly population. So when we say this areas prone for West Nile, we always like to make sure limit your time outdoors, wear bug repellent, or just possibly just be more cautious being outdoors for a limited time. But we always
especially
like
during that sunset, that dusk time.
Yes.
That's when they like to come out. I know some mosquitoes are more aggressive than others.
Mm-hmm.
You can tell. Like some of them will chase you around the block.
Yep.
Long sleeve, short or long pants. Will that protect you, or can they sting through?
It'll help you. It'll help you. Like I said, the bug repellent. Getting rid of the water is probably the best way to just get rid of them. We've noticed that there are certain times of the year where there's just an increase, and the mosquitoes are just like, I mean, we'll come and have hundreds and hundreds of mosquitoes caught, and so we have to go through each of those but it's around. They're not going anywhere.
What is it that makes Christian County susceptible to West Nile? Are we seeing it in all 102 counties in Illinois?
No. It's eventually spreads, throughout the state. Right now we have about 52 positive counties for West Nile in Illinois. I can't remember if we were like number 17 or we were for this year. So we started a little late, but like I said, when July comes, that's when it starts.
Okay.
And it doesn't stop until September.
Oh, okay. They can hang around for a while. Pretty resilient.
Yes, they are.
Clayton, when you're going out and inspecting, are there places people tend to forget? Do you find a common thing where water tends to lie? And there's one we've talked about in the past, but what have you seen out there that people usually forget about?
Well, I notice when I go to most places that are residential for water pooling and everything, a lot of people have bowls for their pets outside. I like to just reiterate, when you have waters for your dogs outside, just make sure to empty that occasionally, because those bugs, they love to set themselves in water. Usually in pools, everything, they're okay though, because it's chlorination. It keeps mosquitoes away. But we just like to make sure for like drainage ditches or anything else like that pulls water, just be cautious when being around those areas, especially when leaving for work or anything else like that.
Absolutely. I think it was Joe Torres that brought up tires one time.
Yes.
Water can just sit in tires. You'll forget about it, and they're hard to dump out. It's hard to dump water out of a tire there.
Definitely.
So you'd be surprised at how it collects there. Gutters are another thing. Like if you don't have your gutters clean, you'll get a lot of water pulled up there. And that's just a perfect breeding ground and you don't even realize it. It's above your head. You don't see it.
So when you do start to see things pop up, maybe you're a little bit worried about your property. What are the steps that residents should start to take with the health department?
And we'll first contact us. We'll if they have water pooling, we can go out and kind of evaluate their property and see like what we can do. Like Clayton said, the larvicide that we're using is a natural bacteria in the soil that will kill the larva of the mosquito. So killing the larva, stops them from developing, but it's not going to be harmful. We just want to see how big of an area we need to treat. Both Clayton and I are licensed to apply larvicide. We're both licensed. So, unfortunately we can't give the larvicide to people, but we can only treat. So.
Is there an instance where larvicide needs to be applied here, or is it something that someone can request if they just want larvicide? If
they request it, we can go out and treat it. It's fairly simple and easy. And then we'll monitor it throughout the mosquito season and go back and retreat, because some of the larvicide that we have is 30 days. Have to be reapplied every 30 days.
Okay. And just kind of wrapping up our conversation on insects here, we can hit it in our second segment as well. Any tick conversations being had out there? And I know, Clayton, you are the inspector out there. Have you been dragging for ticks recently?
We've got a few ticks actually sent in. We're still waiting on some of the results. We just like to make sure that the seasons when August and September, those are high for tick breeding. So they're so small, you won't even be able to notice them at times. So be cautious when you're in a woods area, because they can be on you and you won't even be able to know it.
Do you recommend, if you do pick a tick off your dog or off yourself, keep it in a bag and send it to the health department? I hear a lot of people sending ticks in. What is that for, really?
No, we only collect ticks out in the wild. That's when we go out and do the tick drag. If people do find them, I would, obviously dispose of them. You can, put them in alcohol. That'll kill them.
Yep.
Well, we don't take the ticks in from the public. So we go out and kind of, because basically the tick surveillance is we want to see what ticks are coming in, like are in our county.
Mhm.
Like we want to make there's a certain number of ticks that are in Illinois, some that are kind of making their way up.
Okay.
So we just want, it's more of like a
tracking that movement.
a tracking.
Yes.
Yeah. And so, when we do find them out in the wild, we do send them to IDPH and they do test them for disease. So
Okay.
We just like to make sure whenever you're out there, just avoid wearing white clothes. They love white clothing.
yeah.
Really?
Yep.
Interesting. Okay. We'll keep that in mind
Mhm.
next time I'm out there disc golfing, because I walk through a lot of tall grass out there. A lot of great words from our Christian County Health Department so far. Joe Torres, Director of Environmental Health, and Clayton Sperry, Environmental Inspector. We'll be right back here on the WTIM Morning Show.
Your information station, WTIM.
This is Jordan Rupert with People's Bank and Trust, where customers have one business banker who understands their business and provides the right financial service to achieve their financial goals. Your business banker is your single source for all your financial needs, from cash management to lines of credit, from mortgages to equipment loans, and everything in between. Call me at 888-PBT-1954. Bank with People's Bank and Trust, so you can spend your time running your business, not explaining it. At People's Bank and Trust, we put people first. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Hey there, it's Ramey Miller, personal and business coach, and also owner of Run Deep Coaching, and a Taylorville native now living in the Northern Illinois area. I have the pleasure of helping people strengthen their relationship with themselves and others virtually, no matter where they are. Seeing what's possible for people is the highlight of my job. For example, I support people through job transitions, relationship changes, and developing new habits. Recently, I hosted a workshop and people walked away with hope, courage, feeling worthy and seen. I would love to connect with you. Feel free to reach out for a virtual complimentary 60-minute conversation to see if it's a good fit to work together one-on-one, or we can just simply discuss any upcoming events. My website is www.rundeepcoaching.com. That's www.rundeepcoaching.com. I am sending you so much support.
If you're looking for a local, full or part-time job in Central Illinois, there's an easy place to go to find current job openings. It's IllinoisJobPost.com. That's IllinoisJobPost.com. You'll find jobs available near you. And the best part is that it's free for candidates to access 24/7. If you want a local job when you don't have to spend a lot of money on gas to get to, then you want access to IllinoisJobPost.com to check out current local job openings. That web address again is IllinoisJobPost.com. Another service from your friends at the Miller Media Group.
Seeing is believing, and your new customers can now hear and see your message. Deliver your message on our 6 Miller Media Group radio stations. And now, potential customers will see your message on our new 36 by 72-inch two-sided electronic sign installed in front of our Taylorville studios on Illinois Route 29. You have the opportunity of having your message seen by over 11,200 drivers a day. Contact your Miller Media Group account manager today and deliver your message through your potential customers' ears and eyes.
Just Beds are the yawn exterminators, and they can give you a better night's sleep. Choose from Bemco, Chatham & Wells, Sealy, Simmons, and Tempur-Pedic. Find out the many models and styles available on their updated website by clicking their icon at TaylorvilleDailyNews.com.
This is Dr. Bill Byers, and I'm excited to announce the expansion of my Stealth Wellness business. Not only do I do functional medicine testing, blood work, and nutrition, but I've added red light therapy and sauna therapy to benefit those of Central Illinois. To learn more, click on my banner ad at TaylorvilleDailyNews.com.
Your information station, WTIM.
Welcome back into the WTIM Morning Show. Thanks so much to our live stream sponsors. They're brought to you by People's Bank and Trust, where they put people first, and Landmark of Taylorville, where you always do better with Landmark. Continuing our conversation with the Christian County Health Department, Joe Torres, Director of Environmental Health, and Clayton Sperry, Environmental Inspector. We got the lowdown on the Vector program in that first half there. Talked West Nile and the cases popping up in Christian County, Larvicide, and the services offered by them. A phone number people can go to before we move here, Joe.
Oh, yeah. 217-824-4113.
Perfect. And we also talked a little bit about the parking lot situation with the incoming school year here over with the Christian County Health Department, sharing space with what school is over there.
We have Taylorville Junior High and is it North Elementary?
I always get the North Memorial messed up right there.
Yeah.
But with the incoming school year, the health department is obviously involved in a lot of ways here with our environmental and health experts here. What kind of stuff are you thinking about as the kids are going back to school?
We have a way that we can go to the schools. If the schools are interested, the teachers, their classes are interested, to show them how to proper hand wash. That's one of the big ways to prevent them from getting sick in the school year, is to make sure that they're washing their hands and they know how to wash their hands. We don't realize that we touch our faces like over 20 times. It's crazy. You don't realize that you're touching your face. So we do offer a hand washing kind of class for them.
Yeah, hand washing class. It seems simple, and it seems like something that everyone knows how to do, but it's absolutely not. A lot of people out there don't wash their hands, and maybe don't wash their hands the proper way. Are we at sing happy birthday 2 times still, or what is the count? For how long should we wash our hands?
So you want to be washing for at least 20 seconds, scrubbing for 10 to 15. You can sing that happy birthday, song twice in your head or out loud. Who cares? The ABC song, we tell them to sing that twice. We do have a product where we put on our hands that glows. It's like glow germ. And we show them like what germs are. We teach them about germs. And then we use like a black light to show like, wow, if you're not washing your hands, like it's not coming off if you're doing it incorrectly.
It's a cool visual.
Yeah,
to see.
The kids love it.
Yeah.
I mean, we just did one at the Manners Park day camp, and we had them wash their hands, and they were great. Those kids were great. They were very interested in it.
That would really stick with me. Seeing my hands after I completely thought I washed them normally, and then black light, and I'm seeing splotches on my hands. That kind of what you see there.
And I also put like I'll pass around like a vegetable or a fruit with that stuff, and I'll now we're gonna look at through your hands after you've touched that. After I've touched it, and they'll be like, "Oh, it's glowing. My hands are glowing." It's because. So you have to watch for your, washing your produce. You have to,
sure.
Germs are everywhere.
Some moments when I'm really rubbing my eyes, I'm in one of those moments. I'll stop and I'll think, and I'll retrace my steps of how many door handles I touched, spaces that I grazed along. How many? Is there a number that off the top of your head that how many times on average people are touching their face in like an hour?
I think it's like 20. I'm touching it now. See, it's a crazy amount. Like you wouldn't even know that you're doing it.
Yep.
But it's just something you do throughout the day. You have a scratch on your face, or you adjust your glasses.
Oh yes.
Can the bacteria enter as easily through your eyes, nose, and mouth? Is it all kind of equal? Is there more?
Yeah. I mean, it's going to be mostly like nasal, mouth, but I mean, you definitely can get. You want to avoid touching your eyes too, because then you end up getting conjunctivitis and pink eye. So that's another thing that spreads like crazy is pink eye.
Sure. Aside from the schools, anybody else in town that could benefit from this hand washing class?
Oh yeah, I mean, daycares, mostly the like children, nursing facilities if they want us to show them how to hand wash. It's anybody that's interested. Just let us know.
Absolutely. Last couple of minutes here on our morning show. In terms of illnesses, sicknesses that pop up throughout the school year, are there any words out there that are we expecting an increase in COVID numbers this year or anything like that?
That I don't know. Okay. I know the nurses are working hard to try to get the kids prepared for school with vaccines and stuff, but I'm not sure like as far as
I dipped into the nursing.
That's okay.
End right there.
That's fine.
That's fine.
Figure all right.
Yeah, but I mean, our nurses are working hard to try to make the kids safe.
So. Always a pleasure to have them in studio as well. Final minute here. If you want to throw out any more of the program services, I know you guys do the lead paint and obviously mosquito pesticide, fungicides. There, fungicide. What am I thinking of there? Yeah,
larvicide. Yeah, that's okay.
If you want to throw out any more of those or phone number before we go.
Yeah. So I mean, we do a number of things, right? So our food program is probably the biggest. Program. We have over 250 restaurants that we inspect, and that includes permitting, cottage food, mobile permits, farmers markets. But we do also inspect, septic and wells. We collect non-community water, inspect tanning and body art, smoke-free Illinois. So there's a lot of stuff that we do. But yeah, it's.
And if anyone wants to get their wells tested, we have water testing kits over at the health department.
I know that's a popular one people want to get done as well. So
Yes.
I thank you both for taking the
Yeah,
time.
thank
being
you.
here
No
with me
problem.
today.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Our Christian County Health Department folks, Joe Torres, Director of Environmental Health, and Clayton Sperry, Environmental Inspector. This has been the WTIM Morning Show.
With SRN News, I'm Rich Thomason.